All right, we are live. Oh, look at that. I'm looking at Facebook and you guys are too. There we go. HeartlandDefenders.com. Heartland Defenders on Facebook, which you just saw me watching the stream that I'm in and whatever. So I can moderate you people. Make sure you guys stay in hand. Also Heartland Defenders on YouTube. Today is what? April the 26th, and we're still stuck at home. That's awesome. So I hope everybody's having a good day. And here is Mike and Jacob. And let's see, they can hear you now.
Hello.
What are you talking about? Stuck at home?
Stuck at home. Hey,
if you haven't been out of your house in a month and a half, it rained today. I worked in it.
Well,
I did not.
I did get to do, the whole fire pit on Friday. We finished it up.
Ooh, yeah, I saw that.
Oh,
very nice.
So nice to sit down around the fire.
How many bricks did you wind up using? Do you
60.
know?
I did 20 bricks a layer. Because I wasn't going to do the 10 brick circle, because that's basically like a 1.5 foot wide. Yeah, basically like a 1.5 foot hole. So I was like, I'm going to do 20, and it's about 3.5, 4 feet wide.
Okay.
It's a pretty nice size, good for enough people to sit around. It was all, and then I found the bricks at, I want to say Home Depot for like $1 something a piece.
Nice. Yeah, that's about. We just did ours because we burned a bunch of shit this weekend in ours, and we put this big freaking honker rocker in there.
Yeah.
And we basically had to burn it on top the bricks because it would not fit inside.
Yeah.
So, and I was looking at yours going, Dylan and I were like, yeah, we're gonna rebuild that.
Yeah. Well, and so what I also did is I put. It's a little wet back there when it rains, but the next day it's not too bad. But I put pea pebbles down in it, and then I put, for the top to make it look nice, it's just not stupid pea pebble for drainage. Right. I also put in some red lava rock, which was like, yes, that thing looks amazing. Now, how it deals after a year of using it, we'll see.
Yeah, I'm just gonna let you live with that ash pile that you have to clean out.
Well, Jane's already like, we're gonna end up digging out all the rocks. I'm like, well, if you're not a beehole and digging out the rocks, we'll be okay. I go, just dig out the ash.
Yeah, just dig in your ash.
Yeah, dig in your ash. It'll be okay.
I thought the same thing when we built our fire pit a few years back, and
yeah, I know.
We did. You know what? We when I built the one we have currently, we actually did a couple of bricks. Like some air holes.
Yep.
So I can actually kind of go in there and hose it, and it makes a mess on the outside, but.
Well, so I had to leave gaps in that first layer because when you do 20 bricks. If you don't leave, I want to say about a 1/2 inch gap between each brick on the first layer, your third layer will not all go in. They'll end up, you'll have a 1.5 bricks where you can't get in there. So you have to actually leave that 1/2 inch all the way around. So yeah, it was.
The one we built because we did 3 layers, and like I said, it wasn't quite as thick as yours. Yeah, I probably did it like 4 or 5 times. Like motherfucker.
Yep.
It just wouldn't fit.
Yep. I kept 4 times. I picked them bricks up, put them back down again. I'm like, oh my god, this sucks. But
now you know the military stance. Pick it up, move it over here, pick it back up, move it back over here.
Yep, that's basically what it was. Redo it over and over and over again. Yeah. But yeah. So I had a good weekend for the most part. I mean, we got some house stuff done. Shane got some of her planning done.
I think we've remodeled our whole house this weekend.
Jesus.
I feel like we've been doing something. Yeah, I mean we've been doing something almost every weekend because we're both home.
Right.
Walked in the house Wednesday night, got told to get in the car. We're going to buy a new desk. Thursday night, Wednesday night, build a new desk. Thursday night, moved all my shit from old desk to new desk. Friday, finished moving the rest of my shit to new desk. Destroyed old desk. And then when I walked, Friday, went and picked up the tiller. Took the tiller to the back.
Good times.
Stuck it in the ground. Came out with 4 inches of mud. Said, okay, well, now we got a tiller, but no ground to till because, Ohio apparently can't stop raining for more than a day and a half.
Right.
So tiller got put in the new, into the shed, And we went back to the store on Saturday and bought lumber to build boxes.
For raised beds?
Yeah, so,
Yep.
so
Yeah, that's why I did with ours. We've got one little spot kind of in the back of the property. It's gonna suck to figure out how to water, but it's the only one that I know stays dry unless I want to grow rice, because I can probably grow rice in my backyard.
I guarantee I can flood this and grow
rice or cranberries.
All the rice I need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna be lucky. We're gonna do we got the raised beds. We're gonna put most of it in raised beds, and if it dries enough, we might drop corn late in the season.
Yeah, that's what we were thinking.
Get a row or two of corn going.
Yeah, we're gonna do some corn, I think, and maybe some of the bigger tomatoes back there.
Yeah.
But we're gonna do most of our tomatoes in 5-gallon buckets.
Nice.
We usually do our tomatoes in the front yard.
Do you? Oh, okay.
I mean, the soil up there is great for it. Last year we were picking them off every couple of days. I mean,
yeah, mine's actually drier out front. Probably could. Except most of my front is slanted. I'd have to
box it
angle
in. Yeah.
Or something.
So what are we talking about?
We had homework. We had homework last week. Everybody that was watching last week.
Freaking homework. God.
Oh yeah, I made homework last week, and it wasn't even one question; it was two. So we'll start.
You all got your answers. You all have your answers.
Okay, so
Dolgate, mine, and Cosper.
No, Cosper's been thinking about it all week. I know Cosper enough to know he's been going, yeah, I have this answer. So everybody that's watching...
I'm trying to remember the homework.
Oh, boy. So, I'm going to give it to you right now.
He's getting to it.
So everybody at home that hadn't watched last week's or wasn't watching live last week, the two questions were will things be the same when the whole coronavirus thing is done and we're back to a new normal? And then the next, which, that answers what I think about it already. And then the other one is, will you be the same in your daily activities when it comes down to us being done and back out to the new normal? Those were the two questions. I answered mine last week.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the only thing that I know, personally, I don't know how much is going to change. I know work. I mean, as far as work goes, because we're pretty much, open, I guess. I don't know. Whatever you want to call it. Hey, whatever. I mean, we've been open. We've been doing pretty much just flood damage, people without floors, that kind of stuff. We've been staying away from the I just want my bedroom changed because I don't like the color. We've been trying to stay away from that and keep with the guidelines as best as possible. But I'm going to start calling people pretty much Monday and start trying to set, after May 1st. And I think, like a lot of businesses, we're just going to go for it. And the only thing I am going to do on, being the installation manager, I'm going to talk to the customers and kind of, it's a new repertoire to my questionnaire now when I call them. I'm going to ask them, do they prefer? We got PPE for all our installers, so they have it. If the customers want them to wear it, I guess that's going to be part of the new normal as far as work goes.
I'm going to add the caveat to the question: is once it's all over, is it going to go back to normal?
When's it going to be over?
Well, doing what we do, I'm gonna think far enough ahead to kind of get to the point where it's over, not knowing the end date. But you all remember pictures from China and Korea and Japan where these people, because of the smog, wore masks all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, mask was just their normal. Everybody had one.
Well, that and over the last probably 5 years, a lot of people on airplanes, regardless where they are. I mean, everyone.
I want to say that the mask thing, even though it's obnoxious and stupid because you spend half the time looking at people with it either like this or like this or like this, I'm pretty sure that's going to stick around. I'm pretty sure you're. I honestly think you're going to get a few more Howie Mandels out of this.
Oh yeah, it's a lot for at least the next 5 years.
If you come into my house, you're going to be covered from head to toe in Lysol and booties and everything. It's going to be a different world. On my side of the boat, I don't think a whole lot's going to change in the way I live.
No, I mean, I haven't changed, again, I haven't changed much in my daily routine since I started, and I got into a discussion, man, I don't remember if it was on Facebook or not. I think it was, about, I've always carried gloves, masks, and booties and some other things in my daily carry anyways, or at least my daily carry that's in my car. Mm-hmm. A lot of times, we do a lot of nursing homes and stuff. And some of the buildings we don't have any interaction because they're kind of more of apartment style, not much common area. But some of the other ones, they do a lot of common areas. And there's a lot of people in there that are not always in the best health, and they tend to get sick more often. And so there's times, especially if I know we're going into, or they tell me, hey, you know what? She just came back from the hospital. She's just sick, blah, blah, blah. She's recovering. We'll throw in a mask and go in anyway. So I kind of already had those things. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't really change that. And as far as going to stores, I mean, I went to Home Depot today. The only major thing I think I can see changing, and not for me, but as far as big businesses, is this whole, and this is the one thing I don't like, and I'll agree with, probably everybody that's going to be coming on here that's probably listening that's like us. This whole follow the arrow shit and, this is where you stand in line. Yeah. I kid you not, out of spite today, I went up and down every aisle the wrong freaking, I started at the other end and went backwards down.
Wait, was that at Home Depot? Or Lowe's?
Oh yeah, the one in Chardon now's got lane. Yeah.
So there were certain directions in there. Oh, I didn't even look.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of them that's got little stick down signs in the aisle say, "Do not,
Yeah, no one side this way, the other do not enter."
And the other side says, "Go."
I haven't seen that yet. I've been to both Home Depot and Lowe's in the past couple of days.
I literally watch the people. They don't even look down. They're not looking. So they're either going to keep them there and just ignore the fact that people don't pay attention looking down, or they're going to start sticking them to the end caps.
Well, you think they would.
But there's a bunch of them doing that. But I'm going to tell you what's the one thing that if it changes to be permanent that will piss me off is the Black Friday lines just to go in the fucking store.
Oh, so I picked up a ladder today. We did buying a house. We haven't had a ladder yet. I ordered a ladder last night, and that's something that's changed in my whole routine. Is normally I just go to the store, buy the thing, and I'm out. But lately I've been doing that. If I can order it online and they'll let me because of it's essential or not, like they won't let me order dirt online, but they'll let me order a ladder online. And
you can go in and buy it though.
Yeah, you can go in and buy the dirt, but they won't pull it for you, and you just pick it up. And that's what I've been doing.
Pull it for you?
Nope.
What store are you going to? Because we literally picked up 4 or 5 bags of peat moss and 8 bags of
Lowe's
soil and screws.
Lowe's and Home Depot. Lowe's and Home Depot. There are certain items, at least up here by me in Youngstown area, there are certain items that at home and garden stuff, they will not do. Dirt, peat moss, stuff like that, they will not pull order for you.
They're just lazy and don't want to pick it up. That's all that is.
Well, everybody, this goes to the Facebook thing right here. These are 3 guys in the state of Ohio that have 3 different understandings of what's happening in stores because the store's choosing to do what they're doing versus it's mandated or the DeWine's doing it or the government says so.
Well, so I pulled into I'm picking up, I have a 15-minute parking whatever at Lowe's because I needed to pick up the ladder. Oh, I spent 20 minutes in line before I could even get in the damn store.
That's the other thing. That annoyed me this morning. I went to Walmart and they had the little, you got to go this way to enter into the store.
Yeah, the cattle herding.
They had the yellow tape across, and not the carts. Oh yeah, I ran through that thing just like a marathon. I was like, winner!
Because now here, what they're doing, you've legitimately got security guards.
Nah, see, we don't have that.
The rent-a-cop type. You know what I mean? No gun, flashlight, private, ordered security. But they've got a tablet, like at the Menards down here. They got a tablet, and apparently that tablet's telling them how many people.
Oh, that I have seen. Yes.
Are in the store or whatever, and this person will walk by and count the number of people standing with you. Because like 3 of us went, so we were standing together. And
I'll tell you what. That's a permanent job. I'm telling you what, that's not changing.
Not for a while.
I highly doubt it will.
That's going to be permanent.
Now, if those cattle lines are going to be permanent and they're going to be outside, F you, put up fucking canopies because I stood in the fucking rain.
Well, and here's my question to it. I have never wasted my time watching DeWine's stinking press conference.
I watched him in the beginning. I have not.
I haven't, because they don't say anything new, really.
When did it change? Because I can say this with guaranteed certainty. In the last week, we have hit the Menards in my town at least 6 times, and the only times we have had to stand in line were the last 2 days. So did this mandate that there must be a line start in the last 2 or 3 days?
No. I think it's the weekend.
I never heard anybody actually say that, and the funny thing is, all they've really done is, and it used to, I'll be honest, it used to annoy the crap out of me anyways. All they've really done is make sure people are going in the inside and out the outside.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's really all they've done. I mean, in the long run, it's all they've done. They've just made it so, hey, stop going in. I know the exit opens, go in the fucking entrance. I mean, that's pretty much all they've done. And obviously, so they can count, so that the person, you got to walk by the guy counting every time.
Right.
Well, somebody in the store, one of the days we showed up there, we stood in line, and the guard came through and let six groups or 6 sets of people or whatever you want to call it, each spaced 6 foot apart, go through all at the same time. Okay, you're 2, you're 3, you're 1, you're 2, you're 3, you're 1, right? Everybody goes in. They got the little tablet. When we were leaving, somebody else, like the aisle over, just audibly made a loud enough statement of half of the allotted amount of people inside of this building at this time are staff.
Yep.
Oh, sure. I would imagine.
Yeah.
I mean, so, we walk into the office.
Everything's going to have a different capacity. And you watch, that eventually is going to go through legislation, and that's going to turn into a new norm.
Well, and that's the funniest part about it, because we went to Office Max, right? And the sign on the door said max capacity 25.
Yeah.
25 people in this store. It's like, I'd easily say it's 10 aisles worth of space back.
That's a good sized store.
It's a pretty good sized store. You go over to Menards, it's like 1,300 people.
It depends on the square footage, I think.
Yeah, but I don't think so. I think just like when this whole thing started and businesses started shutting down, it's because I think they're just making this stuff up they're just doing it because, oh, hey, Fred next door shut his business. I guess we better shut.
I'm going to have to agree with that, but I'm going to have to make a statement real quick. I don't know if either one of you are paying attention, but gentlemen, we're up to 48 viewers. I'd like to thank every single one of you for stopping by and taking a look.
Yeah, I've been watching it slowly climb.
Facebook will kill that.
Well,
let's keep it going. Keep sharing this out.
Yeah, I think people, again, when it first happened, we called the the Secretary of State, we called the Attorney General, we called the Governor's office. Every one of them was like, oh, yeah, no, we're not in charge of enforcing that. We don't have anything to do with that. Call your local health department. And when I called my local health department, they were like, well, yeah, so the essential list, well, oh, you know what? If you go on Channel 3's website, they have a pretty good list. So the people enforcing it don't even know. So I think all these businesses that shut down, they didn't have to. We asked business attorneys. Business attorneys are like, stay open. You know, it becomes a court battle because in the end, here's my only thing about it all. Here's my only, and I don't want to get too crazy into this because. But
we got 10 minutes before we got to transition to our next topic.
Our next question, actually.
Here's my thing: if everybody keeps their business open, why don't we just let the customers decide? If people don't want to come out, and I get and I agree with certain parts of the suggestions when they turned into or our orders or perceived as orders, that's when I started having an issue. But regardless of all that, let the businesses all open and let the freaking customers. My biggest problem with all of this when it started was why didn't they talk to us as adults and as management? Because quite honestly, the governor and Dr. Doom and the rest of the crew, they're the workers. We're the management.
Right.
I would have had a lot less problem with everything they did if they would have came to us and said, hey, listen, Mike, this thing, we don't know a lot about it. We don't know what it's going to do. So we're suggesting that, you limit the people in your store if you could. You take some precautions, maybe throw out some, stuff, maybe wipe down things more often. And let's try it like that. Hey, if customers don't feel comfortable or if they want to come in with a mask, let's try that.
Well, you're seeing where places are making the mask mandatory. Then you're seeing places that are saying we will not serve people without a no shirt, no shoes,
well, and
no mask, no shirt.
I'm fine with that because here's a little clue, everybody. When you walk into let's say the three of us own businesses. When I walk into Jacob's store or I walk into Jeremy's store or you walk into mine, you don't have any rights. The Bill of Rights protects you from the government. I don't have to abide by the Bill of Rights. That's not how they used to be oppressed by the government. So if I say you can't have a gun in my store, it's as a personal, whether you agree with it or not, which as the customer, you don't have to, you don't come to my store. That it's my place of business. I make the rules, not the government. The government just says, I can't say no because of your color, your religion, your gender, and those are laws. That's not, you come into my store, you can't come in and yell fire because you have a First Amendment to speak whatever you want. No, that doesn't apply in my store. Now, the government can't come in and say you can't do that in my store because that's against your rights. But it's just like everybody complains about Facebook. Hey, guess what? This is the asshole's format. If he says you can't do it here, you can't do it here. He owns it. Sorry.
Oh, and the 44 viewers just dropped to 12.
Well, but it's true. Well, but here's the problem. Here's the problem I have. If we want them to talk to us like adults, then we got to talk to them like adults. The Constitution and the Bill of Rights and all this other stuff, we can't just use it when it's convenient for ourselves. It's got to be. It's for everybody.
Right.
So and this is gonna make people's heads explode. But I'm sorry, get over it. All these people screaming about shut down the mosques and shut down this and shut down that religion's buildings. No, screw that. Open them all. Guess what? It's freedom of religion. It's in the freaking, just like Jacob doesn't want religion. Jeremy is kind of take it or leave it. guess what? It's their right. So stop this. Christians are being, so shut them all down. No, screw that. Open them all up.
Well,
why aren't you screaming about opening them rather than shutting the other ones down?
Well,
because if you want to shut them down, then you haven't read the freaking Constitution.
Well, on top of that too, I'm gonna jump a little to the side a little. If you haven't noticed or saw what's been going on, where Sweden has announced in the next couple of weeks they're going to hit herd immunity because they didn't shut down like we did. The only thing they did was protect the elderly and the people that would possibly be whatever. They didn't shut down businesses. I had a long talk with a coworker that lives in Sweden, and he's hearing about what's going on over here. We talk every week. And he's just like, I can't believe that they're like, you stay home other than to go shopping for groceries and mandatory things that you need or essentials. He's like, here, we're everyday business.
That's a joke.
But see, right? I think I agree with Jacob on that. But people have, other than maybe in a few places like Michigan, I know she's like gone off her frickin' rocker. But most of the other governors, in all honesty, what they've said are suggestions.
Right.
I've gone since day one, and I'm talking day one. When I want to go out, because it's something you know what? If I want a hot fudge ice cream, that's essential to me. I freaking go out and get hot fudge ice cream. I don't give a crap if you find it essential or not. If I find it essential, it's essential to me. Go screw yourself.
Well, here's the funny thing. Some ice cream shops are open, some are not.
Right. Well, and I think that's the whole thing. I think people have decided on their own that, we got to shut down. No. If you want to shut down because you're afraid of it, then fine. But if you want to stay open, then fine.
The part that's irritating me is seeing the Facebook post where law enforcement's getting called, and the whole see something, say something crap is now falling into this, where you're seeing posts where law enforcement's being called on somebody doing manicures and pedicures out of their house.
Well, I'm glad you said that.
Haircuts.
Because I think that's something that, because I know we'll get into this other topic next in a little bit here, and we might run over, but I want to address two things. I want to address John, and I want to address that. First, with what you said, Jacob, I think that's something we should do next weekend, is jump into the rabbit hole. As far as
the can of worms, so let's
go. I would go. I'm talking jumping.
Oh, he's going. Yep.
Oh yeah, I'm talking about
suiciding. Okay.
Well, let's talk. I think next week we talk about what could be the hidden agendas behind some of these things that are happening. As far as all of a sudden, how quick was it that people had all these stickers ready to go? They had all these plexiglass things and ready to go. There was a lot of everything ready to go.
I took a 3.5 hour drive from my house to the northeast part of Ohio, and every single place we stopped had damn near the exact same fabricated idea of protection plexiglass thing in front of them. Every single freaking one of them. I'm sorry. The only way to protect yourself versus any of this shit is not a piece of plastic in your face. I don't care. You're still breathing. If it's in the vicinity, you're breathing.
It's a splash guard.
It's a feel good. It's a feel good measure.
Right.
But there's a lot of things going on there's a lot of things that we have allowed to happen, and some in this state, but even more in other states. With some states not being able to buy seeds to plant food, with churches not even being allowed to have services in the parking lot while they're in their cars. There's some other deep things that, and maybe even some of the programming that seems to be going on. I mean, I'm kid you not, when I was at, and I was there, I was either there yesterday or the day before at Home Depot. And the setup was kind of, they kept you separated in lines, but you still, all the aisles were open. But now I went back there, and like that overnight, Now it's literally, and I wish Eamon was here. If he's here, he's gonna love that. They've literally now created the bread line in the store to check out.
Yep.
Now everybody stands in a uniform row all the way from the front entrance to the back entrance, basically. And now they have a guy that calls out your name or whatever when you're ready.
But that is not, you cannot call that a bread line because there's still bread on the shelves.
Oh, I get that.
It only becomes a bread line when that line gets shut down halfway through because it ran out of shit.
The point I have is the conformity.
Yes.
The fact that, I mean, I watched everybody. I sat back a little bit and stood for a little bit because I was done and it was irritating me. But I stood back and watched, and to watch the people get into the line and almost goose step every time it was their turn. It was like, dude, it was like watching mindless zombies. One person moved and everybody in unison was bump, bump.
Yeah.
And then in unison, bump, bump. I mean, and it was, everybody was like staring straight ahead, and there was not like much like chat. I mean, it was like, I'm like, what the F is wrong with you people?
Oh, yeah. And people will not talk back and forth between the 6-foot lines. I've noticed that's like kind of weird. They just kind of stick.
Oh, I stand right dead fucking center between both lines.
Right.
Because I'm that dick. Dude, I did everything I could. Everything I could.
But they're pushing this so hard for social distancing and for stay at home and for all of this shit that there is a majority of the population that will now ostracize you. If I'm saying that word wrong,
yeah.
I'm sorry.
You're right. No,
you will be the bad guy.
Well,
just
of course.
because you are not on the fucking X.
Well, here's what I want people to watch over the next months. And again, we'll dive into this more, I think, next weekend. But you watch as time goes by. Let's see. I'll bet you that I'll damn near bet you a year's salary that in time, over the next few months, some of those things will slowly start to disappear. And Vornger, I haven't forgot about yours. I'm coming back to it in a minute. You watch. Those things will start to slowly disappear, the lines and the stripes and the directions. But I will bet you $1 million. You take a seat. People will be trained. They will be trained like a freaking hamster, and they will stand in those lines even when the lines aren't there.
Well, so here's the thing, though. Currently, though, like you said, you despise the lines, and everybody's been trained to use them. You have no choice at this point. I've seen people try to push through.
Prayer.
Well, okay, you have a choice. Though they're trained. Believe me.
Trained. They're being conditioned to use them.
Conditions.
Well, basically, I saw a guy that tried to just push past the line and use one of the registers, and the lady went over and said, "Excuse me, sir." He's like, "I'm not standing in no stupid line waiting for people to get the virus or whatever." And she's like, "Sir, either you get in line or you put your stuff down and you get out." And I'm like, wow. So if you want to purchase their products, you're going to have to buy. You have no choice.
And here's the interesting thing about that, though. That's private business doing that now. Mm-hmm. That's not the government.
Well, I mean, you think about it, though. Private business-wise,
that's the interesting thing to me.
Private business-wise, if you think about it, what store, especially big box stores and brick mortar stores that are on the verge of, Amazon just taking over everything, what stores are willing to be that store that wasn't doing something to keep people spread apart and safe, and being the one that gets people sick?
Right. Well, I think this is all going. People have asked. I think we can dive. I know I keep saying we're gonna dive into it.
Right.
Okay. But no. Hold on. People, just like people keep talking about why do they keep having why and more are there, people-less cash registers.
Well, even then though, if you watch the self-serve registers, it takes more time now to use them because they have to go and wipe them completely down after every person uses them. At least at both the grocery stores that I've done that with.
But think about it. Eventually, as everybody becomes conditioned to use the habit trail the way they should and get in line the way they should, eventually, what do you think the chances are that there will be no more cashiers? Because we'll just be programmed. Dude, at some point, if we're going to check out our own stuff, just like if you go to a gym, you're going to wipe down that machine now after you're done.
I did it anyways. I did it fucking a gym. That's disgusting. I am not getting on a machine without wiping that sucker down first.
But what Coster's saying,
we're going to do all the work anyways.
Yeah, but what Mike's saying is they're not going to wipe down the cart. They'll have bottles of the hand sanitizers at the cart corral for you to wipe it down when you're done and put it in the cart corral.
Right.
And then they'll take it inside and spray. When we went to Menards, they were using, like the 5-gallon whatever pump sprayer that you get for your fertilizer out in the yard or whatever. They were literally using that with diluted bleach, supposedly, just walking up and down the rows of carts, just spraying them.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and
Ryan just said, hit him in the pocket. But the problem, Ryan, I think right now is that I think they're all going to do it.
They're all doing it. I've been to Lowe's, I've been to Home Depot, I've been to Walmart in the past week, and all three of them are doing it. I know Menards was when I drove by today. There was a line clear down the building waiting to get into Menards today.
I can tell you this: our Menards and our Walmart sit across the road from each other. Right? Walmart was doing it 2 days before Menards was doing it. They started doing it. Well, I guess we need to do it too. Because when we went on Wednesday or whatever day we went, there was no security guard at the front entrance. You walked right through the doors. They did have signs up at the exit doors that said this is exit only, but Menards, if you've ever been to a Menards, I think all of them are built where one is the entrance, one is the exit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just how it is. You park in the middle because you always go in this door and you always come out that door.
And hey, Ryan, not to interrupt, but you're right. And I think there's a time coming. There might even be an event being planned. Well, so stay tuned here for that.
And to hit Jesse's point, thank God for curbside pickup. Maybe in your area, but when I tried to order my, and I hate Walmart for this, I tried to order my groceries. I was like, screw it, I'm going to do curbside pickup. I got through ordering all my groceries and hitting, okay, curbside pickup, and it went, we're sorry, but the next available time is the Sunday away from this Sunday. So I spent a half hour picking out my groceries online to not be able to get them for a fucking week. And how do I know they're going to be there in a week?
That milk's going to suck in a week.
Right?
Workers here in town, a while back we ordered stuff because the wife does it all the time, right? The curbside pickup. We'd order stuff and they wouldn't have a particular item available when they're picking the order. So they would just substitute it with other stuff. So you might get a better product than what you bought.
For the same price, or do they up the price to whatever better product is?
No, I don't think they up the price.
Nice.
I can't remember what it was. I think it was like ice cream sandwiches or something she got, and they ran out of them. So instead of getting those particular ice cream sandwiches, they went with another brand and gave her twice of that, double that,
nice.
The amount that she would have originally got.
Well, and if you go to Walmart, it's a separate company, anyways.
Yeah,
it's not even Walmart.
But the point I'm making is now if you go to their website and do curbside pickup for their website, it tells you they do not substitute. So if you order toilet paper, if there is no toilet paper,
you just don't get it. Yep.
Oh yeah. Makes sense. But yeah, I mean there's a lot of things, and we can get into I don't know how many crazy discussions I've had this week with people, and I mean we'll get into a lot of that. I think over the next months, and it's going to be to go back to the real quick, and then we'll wrap this back in a bow. Yeah, John, you're right. It might mutate. and it's going to mutate. I don't even think it's a might. I think the coronavirus will now become an annual event, just like the flu, just like everything else. I think that's the problem, though. It's never going to go away. The solution is to wait till it goes away. It's never going away. I mean, as long as there's humans, the virus is going to be here. It's not going to go away. It will go. It'll go dormant, and people will carry. And when Corona season comes around, because there'll be a Corona season, there'll be an influenza season. But it's true.
Oh.
Think about it.
Corona season happens.
But think about it. When you start watching the TV in end of summer, what's everything you hear? Hey, it's flu season. Coming up. Have you gotten your flu shot? Which is always 2 of these when they ask. Because I have not, and I will not, take. And again, when it comes to being made to now. Yes, and let me disclaimer this. All my kids were vaccinated. I was vaccinated. I believe in vaccinations. However, I will not be forced to take a vaccination. If I so choose, and if people choose to take it, I'm good with that. I don't have any problem with somebody who chooses to do that. But if they tell me I have to, that's a different story. Now, if a private business tells you, much like my wife has to take the flu because she works in a hospital too, in fact. She has to take the flu shot as part of her job. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. Take the flu or you get fired. Your choice. There's
also, if you're afraid of all these diseases, just join the military. When you go through basic, they'll stick you in a line with your sleeves up. You walk through a line like this. I know, I'm pasty. You walk through a line like this, and on both sides, they just start.
Can you turn the lights down on that, Jeremy?
I was going to say, I got to dim my screen a little.
Damn, you need some sunblock.
That's how outside working works, man.
That's true. That's true.
Wear sleeves.
Lakewood did, huh? Damn.
John, you're right. I think it will be more contagious, and I think it's going to and there's going to be deaths every year. I firmly believe that probably next year, I assume that it'll probably kill more, and it'll probably, again, what you said, it's going to mutate. So the vaccine that they're making right now for this strain is probably going to be garbage by the time next Corona season comes around.
Well,
and they're useless. It's going to mutate. One
of the things I think that's going to change as well is how companies do business and how they run their business, because I can see right now companies aren't going to bring back some of their essential employees that can work from home. I'm seeing it already. I'm seeing
for sure.
I'm seeing plans going around
it
where people aren't going to have to go to work as much.
Jeremy Dieter just copped on, and I don't know. For me myself, I don't know. I don't know yet. I haven't decided if I'm coming to the State House on the 1st or not.
I gotta see what day that is.
Yeah, that is a Friday.
Yeah, I'll probably be working
this Friday coming up.
But and it's not so much. I don't know. I'm not against the rallies. Let me say that. I think that anytime and every time someone gets out there and expresses their rights and they feel strongly about that and they go out there and they want to protest because it's their right to. And I believe 95% of what you guys are doing out there. The thing I have, and this is a discussion we've had within the group here lately. I think it's time for something more impactful. I think it's time for something more meaningful. And by meaningful, it's not that when you guys go to the State House and we've been there, you've seen us, we've been there a gazillion times.
Let me jump in here, Mike. My only question is it a permitted event?
I know some of them. I'm here. I've heard back and forth.
I know that we were told I was informed that the past ones were permitted. I think if you really want to enact change, I think you need to stop telling them you're coming.
That's, I think, definitely a big part of it. I think
the whole,
that's
let me get a permit. We need to be allowed there. That if you truly want to voice your opinion and do something, it's time to stop telling them, hey, we're going to stop by between 1 and 3 on such and such a day.
Okay, so he answered you. This one is not a permit.
And it's a national event, too.
Show up and do something.
Hey, Jeremy, we're friends on Facebook. Can you send me something about the national? Because I haven't gotten anything about there being a national event. So if you have something, or if there's some, or just message me personally if you don't want to put it out on Facebook, that's fine. But yeah, because I have not seen, and I'm in quite a few groups, I haven't seen anything about a national event. So if you could send me some info, that'd be awesome. And again, I think, they've done these national events before too. I mean, for God's sake, we did,
we had the State House event.
Two of us were here. We went to Virginia.
Yeah, when we went to Virginia, they had the one here.
Right. They had several around. They had several in several states.
Yeah.
Again, I think, there's a couple things. We're just going. There's a few things. I don't have as much of an issue, but I don't like the imagery sometimes in some of these events, and not so as much Ohio's as some of the other ones. But in the past at Ohio, with the Open Ohio or Open the Country events and stuff like that, I don't see where coming in full battle rattle and rifles and I get what they're doing. It's a point that, hey, our way or else.
We're gonna come for you.
And I get that. I'm the only thing I have with that though is, I don't think that's the right impact. I don't think, because all that becomes is memes nationwide. If you go onto Facebook, they come to these events, they find the goofiest looking dude who's got, the brand new stuff out of the box, in the parking lot, geared himself up, showed him up for the event, and he becomes the poster child for the event.
The brand new AR 500s.
I'm shooting myself in the foot right now, because when I go to these events, I'm dressed like I normally dress. Pair of blue jeans, I'm carrying, I got my shirt on, I got my coat on if it's cold. You couldn't tell whether I'm going to be able to do anything or not do anything. But I'll spend the entire time, and you can ask either one of these gentlemen on this video stream, I don't know where they're at, over there, whatever. You can ask either one of them. I'll spend 90% of the time at these events pointing out all the people who look like they just climbed out of a GI Depot. I'll point out the ones that just look like they probably wanted to be in the military but never quite signed on the dotted line.
Right.
Some of them. Yeah.
I mean, and I get,
make it obvious.
And Terry, I was kind of aware. Well, and yes and no, Terry. A vast majority of those guys that come there are not in a militia of any kind, or they're not in a militia you'd probably want to stand behind. Be honest with you. That's just me personally.
Especially with the rifle on their backs flagging half the group because they're just
or in Virginia when the guy was using his AR as a cane. I mean,
oh God.
I'd go easy on the militia name, because there's probably a lot of guys that are in good, serious militias that look at those guys and go, "You're a fucktard."
There's guys on militias that go, "You're a fucktard."
True.
Everyday Dave, I agree with you, and that's part of the problem with our protests in any state, is the big dick swinging groups that are like, "Oh, I'm better than you are," type crap, makes a lot of people not want to go. Just my opinion. Excuse my language.
Name off names right now. That if
No,
you go
no
to
names.
their
No
Facebook
names.
Page, no names. But if you go to their Facebook page, their profile pictures are them dressed in full battle rattle, looking like ghosts from freaking Ghost Recon, thinking they're the baddest motherfucker on the planet.
Well, and that's, you know what? And I'm glad a few of these guys have, and Dieter and all you guys. This actually brings me back to my point. When and Dave's example is perfect. The problem with a majority of these events are when we get there, we come to these groups and events as, you're right. Hey, I'm the swinging here and I'm the swinging there, and we do this and we're cool there, and the problem is that 99% of the time when we show up at these events, they turn into some stupid political thing, as far as politics, as far as, Trump's cool, Trump's a dick, and it has nothing, it loses, the event loses itself. And we never come to these events as we the people. We come together, we come as this group, we come as that group, we come as this, but we don't come to these groups as we the people. And I think that's the biggest reason why most of these events have no lasting, impactful event, because we're not there as a group. We're there as 50 individual groups standing in the same play yard. We're not there as a group, as we the people. And I think that's what needs to be changed. And that's the kind of event we need, is something impactful where we come together as we the people. And I'm talking from all sides of, I don't care who you voted for, race, gender, religion, what your background is, whether you drive a Toyota or a Lotus, as together as we the people, if we won't come together as we the people, as a common, unit to change the fundamental government back to what it's supposed to be as we the people, and we're the managers and they're the employees, until we come together, they're never going to take any of these serious, because they're not impactful. There's no impact from them, because we come there as 30 or 40 individual groups. We don't come there together as we the people. When you go back, Google impactful protests. You go back and you watch the King marches and things of that, genre. Those people, man, there are people who wouldn't, man, they wouldn't much less share a table together, much less walk together. But man, they locked arms and they were miles of protesters walking down the street saying, no, these are our streets. We the people. We own this. This is us. This is our country. We have, in this case, we're Black Americans, and as Americans, we have the same rights as the rest of us, the rest of Americans. And that's what we need in a real impactful rally, is to all come together as Americans, as we the people, and screw all this division crap. Screw all this, well, you got to be this to be in the cool clubs, or you got to be this, or you have to believe in this, or if you don't believe in him, then you can't be part of the cool. No, bullshit. Read the damn Constitution. It's we the people. And if we don't come together as we the people, we're going to continue to be a joke at these rallies. It's just a fact. We have to stop all this division shit and come together as we the people, or we're never going to have an impact, period.
Right. I've always said that. That's you can't, because it's only a chunk of a chunk of a chunk when you start doing the separation by you're not cool enough because you don't believe this and that. That's our Constitution is not, how do I want to put it? It's not party. It's not set up for a certain party. It's set up for everybody.
Exactly, and that's what it just drives me nuts that we can't give, just like we met Aubrey at Black Lives. He was from Black Lives Matter in Virginia. He was at the Virginia rally to support the rally, and there were still groups that gave him crap for being there, because it was Black Lives Matter.
Why does that matter though?
Yeah, they couldn't see past his shirt as as some kind of you're part of that evil Black Lives Matter. Are there Black Lives Matter groups that have gone to radical and gone to shit? Yeah. Hey, guess what? There's militias that are on our side that have done the same damn thing.
Yep.
So, better look in the mirror before you tell. And I'm going to tell you what, having conversations I've had with Aubrey, I'm going to tell you what, there are militias in our state and other states that we've joined hands with that I'm going to tell you what, I'd stand next to that man long before I ever stand next to them again, because he was a genuine and believed in his cause. I'm telling you what, I don't give a crap what group he's in. I looked past the group he's in and looked at the man, and I'm going to tell you what, that's a good man.
Nice. On that note, we're up against it with 5 minutes. So I'm gonna tell everybody put their cans down, save them for next week. You guys, I emptied half of my freaking bag out for tonight, and we never even got to it. So you guys are dicks. Anyways, and by the way, I want to bring something up. I brought up the word the male genitalia, and we went up 5 viewers and then dropped again.
I really want to thank everybody. I mean,
I appreciate everybody.
Right now, but I want to thank everybody for stopping by.
And it's true, guys. I'm not ragging on anybody's events. I'm not ragging on what you're doing. I think every time anybody goes out and protests and stands up their rights, I think that's an amazing thing. It's something we need to do. Right. The only thing like I said, I think the imagery needs to change. I think the impactfulness needs to change. And I think we need to stop this division of us against them and get together as we the people. And I'm going to tell you, if we do that, that'll scare the shit out of these people in government, because the minute we come together as we the people and they know that as we the people, they've stopped dividing us, things will change. That's the only way things are going to change. Otherwise, we're going to keep going down this path.
And the one way you can do that is you can actually start thinking about the way you talk and speak of other people that may be on the other side. My dad will tell you, he's not in here. He never watches the show. He's out in the middle of nowhere and doesn't even know what time it is half the time. But I bust his balls about him being, Democrats, snowflakes, stuff like that, because if you talk like that, you're already separating yourself from people. You're already blocking and putting up walls. So the way you talk about the other people that you don't quite agree with, maybe we don't start with insults immediately when you talk to them or refer to them, even in front of them. Maybe we try to work things out a little bit and just be open to conversation. That's just my thing. On that,
it's something that I'm looking. I'm actively going out looking for groups that probably a lot of groups we would normally hang out with probably wouldn't even step. I'm actually trying to make appointments to sit down with these people, because I think that's the only way to change. I think that it's time for a civil rights type movement where we do take to the streets. We decide to shut down everything, because rather than going to work that day, we march from I don't care, wherever, Baltimore, we march from A to the Capitol, or maybe we started our state capitals first, and then we walk to DC. But I'm not talking 50 of us. I'm talking 1 million, 2 million of us taking the streets back, literally.
We got to get 1 million to 2 million of us to get along first. That's the key.
Yes.
We gotta get 1 million or 2 million people to even
we gotta get
the same vicinity of each other.
Well, I mean, but you got to get them to get along first. Then they'll be willing to get in the same vicinity of each other.
Well, you got 2 million people. The chances you're going to see that person you despise drastically is reduced. But what I'm saying is if you post an event on Facebook, Facebook likes to say, no, we're not going to let that one be seen by too many people. You can spend your hard-earned money to post to boost the thing, and Facebook will still say, no. What it is this. This right here. We've done it. Mm-hmm. We've done it. We posted an event for We the People. We had 5-6 people that we've never talked to, never seen, never met that actually saw it. Came on there, had the left and the right arguments. One guy came on there and said, "Oh, this is just going to be a party of incels." If you don't know what that is, Google's your friend. But we got it. We as a group of Americans have to figure out how to circumvent the only communication we have been conditioned to use at this point, which is Facebook Messenger, text messenger to people you actually like, and or video chat. Because here's the shtick. We were up to 40, 48, 49 people at one point in time. We're back up to 26 right now. I know we're on the out. We're a minute past. But if every single person that was in our feed at 48 shared it to their page, it should have at least doubled potentially for a time. That's where it's at.
Well, it has to be grassroots. I mean, we have to go beyond, and I'm serious about, I've done a lot of thinking about doing something like this, and it's going to have to be grassroots. It's going to have to be sooner than later. But it's going to take everybody not only just doing what they do on here, but, getting outside of here, going to see people, when they were planning, everything leading up to, the 1776 and all that, those guys didn't, get on, "Hey, George, what do you guys think about this whole British shit?" No, they got together. They got together. They wrote letters. And there needs to be more of that reaching, and they went to everyone. It has to be a grassroots movement, and it has to be not just this cool kids club and that. It has to be We the People, and it has to be all of We the People, or at least the vast majority of We the People.
Right.
But we'll get into it more. I know we're probably putting people to sleep at this point.
They're falling off slowly. So thank you.
Seriously, thank you again, everybody, for coming on. And we will be again next Sunday at 8 o'clock. And I'm sure Jeremy's going to tell you all that. But
next Sunday, 8 p.m. we'll be here. Unless some catastrophe happens, dump truck or whatever, trash truck, whatever. Since that keeps getting brought up. And then, and go to Heartland Offenders on YouTube. You're watching us on Facebook and live. And then we also have heartlandoffenders.com. Check that out if you're looking for a group or something. We're not a militia. We're not even, we kind of do some stuff, but it's not, we're not a militia.
We are a well-trained civilian organization in all aspects of preparedness and survival.
Yeah. And I want to thank you too for your time. Thank you everybody that was watching and that will watch. We thank you guys. We'll see you next Sunday at 8 p.m. Have a good night. Be safe.
See you, everyone.